Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road collection from Glam Polish. This collection goes on sale January 3rd, so in the description box below I will link the Glam site, I will link their Instagram page, I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from this collection, and I will also leave a page to their stockists. They are an Australian company. They do ship pretty much worldwide, but just in case they don't ship to where you live or you prefer to order through a stockist, that will be down there as well. So there are 10 new polishes in this collection, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Bennie And The Jets, and this is a off-white crelly. It does have a hint of a gray to it, and it does have a bunch of ultra chrome chameleon flakies, some of which are in the purpley to blue spectrum, and some of which are in like the copper to gold spectrum. It also has this really beautiful purple to, or it's like a magenta to copper shifty shimmer. So here's our first coat of Bennie And The Jets. This one is pretty sheer here on this first coat. It is going to have to be built up in at least 3 coats. It does have a smooth formula, not too thick, not too thin, no running or pooling or staining. You get a good amount of these flakes out. They are all relatively larger flakes, so you will have to kind of work to space them out just a little bit to make it where they're not clustered all in one spot. So this is building up well in 2 coats, but again, I am going to go in for a 3rd coat. I would recommend working in a little bit thicker of coats for this one. If you work too thin, 3 coats still won't cover. So there's our 3rd coat, and that does cover completely for me in 3. This is going to dry with the slightest bit of texture because of the larger flakes, so you will want a coat of a glossy top coat to smooth this out, but nothing in this polish is going to be difficult to remove like a glitter. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Rocket Man, and this is a icy kind of grayed out light blue. This has a holographic little fleck to it, as well as this same purpley blue shifty shimmer. Here's our first coat of Rocket Man. So this one covers pretty well on the first coat considering how light of a color it is. I am going to go in for a 2nd coat today, and I did get full opacity in 2 coats in person. Looking back on camera, I definitely could have used a 3rd coat though. So depending on your application and preferences, you might want to go in for 2 or 3. So there's our 2nd coat. The shimmer that's in here stands out really nicely. Nothing in this dries textured, but there is a little bit of resistance on removal. So there's 2 coats. So up next we have the bee with a bunch of different symbols is back, and this is a kind of cleared base. It's a silver holographic linear base, but it does show up clear. It's a linear hollow, obviously. It's full of these ultra chrome chameleon flakies, as well as these little silver holographic micro flecks. Here's our first coat of the bee is back. Considering what this is, it covers really well here on this first coat. I do reach full opacity in 2 coats, but I would not recommend this one as a topper. Granted, it does have a clear base. You won't be able to see much of whatever's underneath. You get a ton of these flakes out, and it's very minimal manipulation to spread them out evenly. So like I said, complete opacity in 2 coats. This one does dry dull and slightly textured because of these larger flakes, so you will want a glossy top coat to smooth this out. Removal is not difficult, but it is messy. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and this is a antique-y kind of bronzed out gold linear hollow with these same silver holographic microflecks. Here's our first coat of Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. So this one covers pretty well on this first coat. I can obviously still make up my nail lines, so I am going to go in for a 2nd coat, but again, a nice, smooth, easy to work with formula. No running or pooling or staining on this either. The little holographic bits that are in here do stand out really well as well. So here's our 2nd coat, and that does cover completely for me in 2 coats. This one is also a pretty solid 2-coater. I know a lot of glams are like 2, maybe 3, but this one's pretty solidly 2. Nothing in this is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. so there is 2 coats. Up next we have Saturday Night's Alright, and this is a deep, kind of vampy, bloody red jelly. It's full of these little flecks that don't shift. They're primarily these red and purple flakies, and it does have some of those silver holographic microflakes as well. Here's our first coat of Saturday Night's Alright. I did go a little bit thick here on my pinky, so I did scrape some off camera, but this one covers pretty well here on this first coat. Not completely opaque, a little uneven, which is pretty typical of colors like this, so I am going to continue with a second coat. You get a ton of these little flakes out without having to do anything special, and they're all relatively small, so they do spread out nice and evenly and easily. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats for me, depending on your application. This is another one I could see you potentially needing a third coat for, just because these kind of deeper red jellies do have a tendency to be on the uneven side of things, so you might need 3 for this one. Nothing in this is going to dry super textured, and nothing in this is going to be difficult to remove. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Don't Go Breaking My Heart, and this is a bright neon pink jelly full of gold flakies. Here's our first coat of Don't Go Breaking My Heart. This one covers okay here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. Again, a smooth, easy to work with formula. I didn't have any running, pulling, or staining with this one either. I love the gold flecks that are in here. They're really solid, not kind of, I like the transparent gold flakes best if it's in like a topperish form, but in these colored bases I truly appreciate this solid gold fleck. So this is completely opaque for me in 2 coats, but again, depending on your application here, it might need a 3. This will dry with the slightest bit of texture because of the flakes, so you'll want top coat, but nothing will be difficult to remove, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have Your Song, and this is a turquoise jelly base loaded with a bunch of different colored and shifty flakies, as well as some iridescent flakies and that holographic flake. Here's our first coat of Your Song. This one is, again, a jelly base, so it is one that's going to have to be built up, and it's got a lot of these dainty elements in it, so it is more sheer than things that we've looked at thus far. Good, smooth, easy to work with formula. You get a ton of these flakes, a ton of this glitter without having to do anything special. So here's our second coat. It builds up really well in 2 coats, but I did like this best on 3, so I am going to show you what a third coat looks like today. But depending on your application, you might be able to get away with 2. These flakes and glitters that are in here are easy to spread out across the nail and get nice and even. So here's our third coat, and that does cover completely in 3 coats. This is going to dry pretty textured, so you'll want 1 or 2 coats of a glossy top coat to smooth this out, and it does take a little bit of scrubbing to remove, as this isn't all flakes, there is some glitter. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and this is a blurple jelly base loaded with the warmer toned Ultra Chrome Chameleon Flakies, as well as this strong purple magenta shimmer. Here's our first coat of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. So the flakes that are in this one are more sparse than the previous polishes that we've looked at. They are there and they do build up well, but they're not as heavy in the polish as the rest of the ones in this collection of flakes. I'm tripping on my own words. This does have a good formula. It's a little bit on the thinner side, but it's not difficult to work with. So here's our second coat, and in 2 coats in person, this one looked completely opaque. Looking back, I would definitely add a third coat. Had I known it would, I don't know, I feel like it'd just look a little bit better with 3. This isn't going to dry textured, and nothing's going to be difficult to remove in this. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Crocodile Rock, and this is a deep, deep navy blue jelly base, and it's full of these neon glitters. So I see neon pink, neon green, neon purple, and blue glitters, and of course there's a couple different sizes, and I also see neon yellow as I turn the bottle. Here's our first coat of Crocodile Rock. So this one is in a jelly base. It is a little bit more sheer. It is going to require some building up. This one does have another good, easy to work with formula, no running or pulling or staining. These glitters come out nice and easily, and you do have to do a little bit of manipulation to spread them out evenly, but it's not difficult whatsoever. This one also has tiny little gold flecks in it that are absolutely beautiful, and they really add a lot to the polish. I didn't see them in the bottle because there was so much happening, so much for your eye to look at, but they are there on the nail and they are really, really gorgeous. Definitely the standout of the polish for me is this little gold micro fleck. So this is building up well in 2 coats, but I am going to do 3 for full opacity. This one is going to dry super textured because of all this glitter that's in here, and removal is going to be extremely difficult. I would recommend a peel off base coat, pure acetone, or nail polish clips to remove glitter always. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today we have I'm Still Standing, and this is a deep, deep plum jelly base full of the same glitters that we saw in the last polish. So a bunch of different size neon glitters, including pink, green, yellow, blue, and purple. And here's our first coat of I'm Still Standing. So this is much like the last polish, a sheer jelly base for this one. It does have to be built up, but again, a good, smooth, easy to work with formula. You get a good amount of the added elements in this one without having to do any fishing, swirling, holding the bottle upside down, anything like that. It does take a little bit of manipulation to spread everything out evenly, but it's not difficult to work with whatsoever. So this is building up well in 2 coats. I am going to show you what a 3rd coat looks like today, and where the previous polish had this little gold micro fleck in it that wasn't noticeable in the bottle but on the nail, this one has this kind of pink purple micro fleck in it. Really beautiful. I do like those added elements in these 2 polishes. So again, we're at full opacity here in 3 coats, and just like the last one, this is going to dry textured. 1 or 2 coats of a top coat to smooth this out, and removal is very difficult. So there is 3 coats. I did have 2 standouts in this collection, the first one being Your Song. I think these kitchen sink polishes are really beautiful. The polishes that have a little bit of everything. This has a little bit of glitter, a little bit of flakies, a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of just everything in it, and I think they're really beautiful. I like when Glam Polish has these kind of jelly bases with all of the added elements. So this one is a favorite, though it's more of a summer color for me. I will definitely use it in the summertime. But my other favorite would be Saturday Night's Alright. This kind of deep vampy shade, and it's got like shifty flakies to it. Really, really gorgeous. Glam kind of has a style to their brand in general, and I think this fits the style really well. So Saturday Night's Alright and Your Song were the 2 standouts in the collection for me. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.